Namo Amidaji. Section 3. Shakyamuni Buddha's supreme appearance and the reason for his coming to this world. Something very important happens with Shakyamuni Buddha just before starting to teach this sutra, and we must understand its significance. Quote, "At that time all the senses of the world-honored one radiated joy. His entire body appeared serene and glorious, and his august countenance looked most majestic." End quote. Ananda noticed this and realized that there is a reason, a holy intention of Shakyamuni for manifesting such a wonderful appearance like never before. Quote, "Having perceived the Buddha's holy intention, Venerable Ananda rose from his seat, bared his right shoulder, prostrated himself, and joining his palms in reverence, said to the Buddha, 'World-honored one, today all your senses are radiant with joy, your body is serene and glorious, and your august countenance is as majestic as a clear mirror whose brightness radiates outward and inward. The magnificence of your dignified appearance is unsurpassed and beyond measure. I have never seen you look so superb and majestic as today. With respect, great sage, this thought has occurred to me. Today the world-honored one dwells in the rare and marvelous Dharma. Today the world hero dwells in the Buddha's abode. Today the world I concentrates on the performance of the leader's duty. Today the world valiant one dwells in the supreme Bodhi. Today the one most honored in heaven realizes the Tathagata's virtue. The Buddhas of the past, present, and future contemplate each other. How can this present Buddha not contemplate the other Buddhas? For what reason does his countenance look so majestic and brilliant?" End quote. The Buddha asked Ananda, quote, "Tell me, Ananda, whether some god urged you to put this question to the Buddha, or whether you asked about his glorious countenance from your own wise observation." Ananda replied, quote, "No god came to prompt me. I asked you about this matter of my own accord." End quote. Then the Buddha said, quote, "Well said, Ananda. I am very pleased with your question. You have shown profound wisdom and subtle insight in asking me this wise question out of compassion for sentient beings. As the Tathagata, I regard beings of the three worlds with boundless great compassion. The reason for my appearance in the world is to reveal the teachings of the way and save multitudes of beings by endowing them with true benefits. Even in countless millions of kalpas, it is difficult to come upon and meet a Tathagata. It is as difficult as seeing an undumbara flower, which blooms very rarely. Your question is of great benefit and will enlighten all heavenly and human beings." End quote. So, Ananda asks a question out of compassion for all sentient beings, because he wants us all to be aware of the importance of the teaching Shakyamuni Buddha is about to give on Amida's unconditional salvation. It is like saying, quote, "Hey guys, listen deeply to what the Buddha is about to say now, as this is not an ordinary instruction, but the most important teaching of his coming to this world. This is the reason why he now looks so superb and majestic, like I have never seen him in my entire life." End quote. Quote, "Today the world-honored one dwells in the rare and marvelous Dharma, according to Master Shantou. These words indicate, quote, the form manifested through the Buddha's supernatural powers. Not only do his features surpass the ordinary, there is none his equal." End quote. I think it also means that the LargerSutra is the most important teaching or Dharma of Shakyamuni Buddha. Today, the world hero dwells in the Buddha's abode. In other translations, it appears as, "Today the world hero abides where all Buddhas abide." According to Master Shantou, these words indicate abiding in the samadhi of a universal sameness, and that he subdues all Maras, even the powerful demon king of the sixth heaven. I think it also means that the LargerSutra contains the wisdom of all Buddhas and is emanated while dwelling in the supreme Dharmakaya of Shakyamuni and all Buddhas. Quote, "Today the world I concentrates on the performance of the leader's duty." End quote. According to Master Shantou, these words indicate that he, quote, is unsurpassed in drawing and guiding sentient beings to enlightenment, end quote. I think it also means the teaching of the LargerSutra is Shakyamuni Buddha's main duty and action as the leader of all sentient beings. Quote, today the world valiant one dwells in the supreme Bodhi. According to Master Shantou, these words indicate that, quote, the Buddha alone, and matchless as he abides in the four forms of wisdom, is completely unrivaled, end quote. I think it also means that the teaching, the LargerSutra, is the culmination of Shakyamuni's perfect enlightenment. Quote, today the one most honored in heaven realizes the Tathagata's virtue. According to Master Shantou, these words indicate that, quote, in his attainment of highest truth, the Buddha is the one most revered in all the heavens, end quote, and that, quote, he has awakened to the truth that body nature is not void, end quote. I think it also means that the LargerSutra contains all the supreme virtues and merits of Shakyamuni Buddha and all Buddhas. Quote, the Buddhas of the past, present and future contemplate each other. How can this present Buddha not contemplate the other Buddhas? End quote. This means that Shakyamuni's teaching on Amida Buddha from this sutra is in agreement with all Buddhas and is praised by all Buddhas. Because Shakyamuni Buddha regards, quote, beings of the three worlds with boundless great compassion, end quote, the reason for his appearance in the world is to save them all. Quote, the reason for my appearance in the world is to reveal the teachings of the way and save multitudes of beings by endowing them with true benefits, end quote. If this is the reason for his coming to the world, then which of the many teachings and practices that he taught during his life on earth can better bring all beings, no matter their spiritual capacities, to the attainment of perfect enlightenment, if not the teaching on Amida's unconditional salvation, which he presented in this sutra? Because, quote, even in countless millions of kalpas, it is difficult to come upon and meet a Tathagata, and as difficult as seeing an Udumbara flower, which blooms very rarely. The question asked by Nanda, quote, is of great benefit and will enlighten all heavenly and human beings, end quote, showing to them the true reason for Shakyamuni Tathagata's coming to this world, that is, to teach this sutra on Amida's unconditional salvation. Shinran said, quote, how is it known that this sutra was the great matter for which Shakyamuni appeared in the world, end quote. Then he gives all the quotes I myself presented above, as well as the whole third fragment of the sutra as testimony. And he says in conclusion, quote, these passages give clear testimony that the LargerSutra reveals the true teaching. It is indeed the right exposition for which the Tathagata appeared in the world, the wondrous scripture, rare and most excellent, the conclusive and ultimate exposition of the one vehicle, the precious words disclosing perfect instantaneous fulfillment, the sincere words praised by all the Buddhas throughout the 10 quarters, the true teaching in consummate readiness for the beings of this day. Let this be known, end quote. Shinran also said, quote, the teaching of the Pure Land Way is found in the LargerSutra of Immeasurable Life. The central purport of this sutra is that Amida, by establishing the incomparable vows, has opened wide the Dharma storehouse, and full of compassion for small foolish beings, selects and bestows the treasure of all virtues. It reveals that Shakyamuni appeared in this world and expounded the teaching of the way to enlightenment, seeking to save the multitudes of living beings by blessing them with a benefit that is true and real. Assuredly, this sutra is the true teaching for which the Tathagata appeared in the world. It is the wondrous scripture, rare and most excellent. It is the conclusive and ultimate exposition of the one vehicle. It is the right teaching, praised by all the Buddhas throughout the 10 quarters. To teach Tathagata's primal vow is the true intent of this sutra. The name of the Buddha is its essence. End quote. In order to convince us even more to take the sutra very seriously, Shakyamuni makes a short reference to his supreme qualities. Quote, Ananda, you should realize that the Tathagata's perfectly enlightened wisdom is unfathomable, capable of leading innumerable beings to liberation, and that his penetrating insight cannot be obstructed. With just one meal, he is able to live for 100,000 kotis of kalpas, or an incalculable an immeasurable length of time or beyond. Even after that lapse of time, his senses will still be radiant with joy and show no signs of deterioration. His appearance will not change, and his august countenance will look just the same. The reason for this is that the Tathagata's meditation and wisdom are perfect and boundless, and he has attained unrestricted power over all dharmas or phenomena. Ananda, listen carefully. I shall now expound the Dharma. End quote. Ananda replied, yes, I will. With joy in my heart, I wish to hear the Dharma. End quote. Shakyamuni, like any Buddha, is supreme in the universe, with power over all phenomena, or dharmas, and possessing perfectly enlightened wisdom. So his teaching on Amida's unconditional salvation, or Amida Dharma, should be heard with veneration, devotion, and a mind open to receive its wonderful message. This is also the meaning of Ananda's words, quote, with joy in my heart, I wish to hear the Dharma. End quote. Two important footnotes to section 3. The first important footnote is, the truth that Buddha nature is not void is an extremely important concept, and it means that while all phenomena of samsaric existence are ultimately void or empty of their own existence, because they came into being according to various causes and conditions, the Buddha nature is the only existent reality which is not void or empty of itself, but only empty of samsaric phenomena, empty of delusion, empty of suffering, empty of ignorance. Buddha nature does not depend on causes and conditions, so in this sense is not empty or void, but truly existent, the only true existent reality. Such a teaching is present in many Mahayana sutras like Mahayana Mahaparinirvana Sutra, Tathagatagarbha Sutra, Sutra of the Great Dharma Drum, Srimala's Lion Roar Sutra, Angulimala Sutra, etc. The second and last important footnote of section 3 regards the use of the word Dharma with a small d and with a large or capital D. When the word Dharma is used with a small d, it refers to all existence and phenomena in general. When it appears with a capital or large D, like in Dharma, it refers to the teaching of the Buddha. Namo Amida Butsu.